gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things.
Ray! Do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock! Ray! Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks! Yeah, do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock!
Everybody's doing it. Hello, friends. Chris here of Chris Things Art, and welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things. I am your host, your pal, your wrestling art dude, and today we get back to the match of the week edition of the podcast. Yes, we got actually quite a bundle of matches of the week that we're falling a little bit behind week by week as we go. It happens, but we're endeavouring to get caught back up. Today we'll be talking match of the week number... What do we got here? Match of the week number 107 and 108. How about that? My gosh. Yep, so we're going to be joined by dear pal of the show, Richard of Video Plant, is the dude who I thought none more apt to be talking about these two matches in question. Thought they were really up Richard's alley here, especially with the amazing Video Plant project. And I know for a fact that Richard has that Full Brawl War Games 1994 VHS tape. I've seen it in this glorious Video Plant basement passion installation art project, whatever we might call the Video Plant. But I'm very excited about it. A faux VHS store. I for those who might not be aware, I've done a bunch of stuff with Richard so far as part of this incredible Video Plant project, and I have really loved like every moment of it. Like the kind of stuff that he's got me to do is like so lines up with my interests and my passions as an artist as well. And yeah, for me to like put a bit of kind of like my personality and my artistic whatever you call it into to shape and have sort of like an impact on this super cool project has just been such a wonderful thing for me. So I'm excited to be chatting it up with Richard when we have him on later in the show. I am sure we will we'll hopefully get to talk a little bit about the latest haps in Video Plant, and I know we're working towards a new website for Video Plant, which I'm very excited about. So we'll talk all about that to Richard, including talking all about these two matches that I absolutely love, that being the War Games 1994 bout of the Stud Stable versus Team Nasty Dreams, match that we watched at Wrestling Club a few months back, and a match that I just absolutely adore. One of the real underrated War Games matches, I would say. Followed by just an incredible, totally different Lucha Libre Yaveo clinic. That is the great match from Lucha Memes, from Arena Coajalco, the tremendous Hechicero versus Gelwa match from last year. So looking forward to talking to Richard all about that. In the meantime, this is my moment where I talk to you guys, give you the latest haps in the world of Chris Things Art, and just what I've been up to. As you know, if you've been listening to the last couple of weeks, the Oddities and Curiosities Expo have been a big part of my life of late. I have been traveling interstate. Had a whole, the last week's episode was me just like rambling all about it, And also just how much Oddities has had such a big impact on my life, on my art life, and me getting to do this thing. And so yeah, give that a listen if you feel like. But we finally got to the end of it. This past weekend in Sydney was the last of my Oddities and Curiosities Expo weekends of selling my art at this wonderful event, a celebration of alternative, all things weird and freaky, and thankfully my art has a place in there somewhere. But dude, immediate thoughts now that it's all over. It was just a wild ride of a year doing this, like 3 weekends in a row in all different states. But so darn good. I really enjoyed every moment of it. I got to meet so many really cool people. Got to have so many just fantastic chats. Ranging from obviously I do enjoy talking about my art, so that's like quite a really nice thing to get to do as part of it. But also chatting about movies, chatting about wrestling, of course. Had a lot of like really great chats with like people who are fellow wrestling obsessives like me, that I got to talk to in these different cities. And all at the end of the day, I think it all is about that exchanging of passions, and putting your enthusiasm for especially somewhat strange passions. I just I really love getting to do that. See someone's eyes light up when they can see that you're into something that they're really into. I loved it, man. So I wanted to say an official massive thank you to everyone that I got to meet over these last few weeks in Oddities in Melbourne and Brisbane and Sydney at the events. If any of you guys happen to be listening to this right now, welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Chris Things. Thank you so much if we had a chat, and thank you so much for supporting if you did that as well. But yeah, dude, I just had a ball, honestly. Massive thank you to the great team that like organizes the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. They did such a fantastic job. Make you feel like valued as a exhibitor as well, which is like super cool. And of course, like all my fellow like artists and different people there, as vendors selling stuff as part of Expo, like the Oddities Expo. I just really felt like such a togetherness, like, and support that you don't necessarily always get. I mean, I've met some wonderful friends, through doing these kind of events, and yeah, I just think the community is just fantastic, and I really do appreciate it. I want to also just say, like, weirdly, when I got to the end of that last day, the Sunday, I got to the end of it and I saw the clock running out, and if anything, like, I kind of had a bit of a sadness, it's like you sort of get to the end and it's like, yay, oh, phew, it's over, but like, I was just kind of like, oh man, it's over. I was just really enjoyed it so much, and I was sort of like, oh man, I'm a little bit sad that we've got to the end of this year, but yeah, hopefully we'll be doing it all over again next year for Oddities Australia 2026. Hopefully they'll have me back, but yeah, man, such a good time. One interesting thing I wanted to make mention of as well, while I got you here, I like to sort of use this as a bit of a personal journal kind of deal, and take you behind the curtain of just being the guy being like, hey, here's my art, buy my art, which you can do if you go to christhings.com.au and follow at christhings on Instagram. You can buy all the things there, prints, t-shirts, calendars, all the stuff. But no, what I was meaning to say there is I want to take you behind the curtain, be a bit more real with you. One thing that I have been struggling with when I am away, it does have a bit of a impact, and puts a bit of pressure on your relationships. I don't know if anyone else out there like travels as part of their work. But that's one thing I'm still kind of trying to get right, because being away, it is hard to, you try to stay in touch, but like still, like you're away and you're not spending time together. So that's one of the things I'm trying to work on at the moment to try to when I get back, to put that energy into my relationships, especially my partner Kaylin, who supports so much for my art and these expos and my traveling carny lifestyle. She was actually there like by myself for a majority of that Brisbane one as well, which I really liked. But yeah, that's one thing I'm sort of like just trying to work out, how to do this and also be a good boyfriend kind of thing. When I have that time away and then to kind of like make up for that. So that's something I'm working on. It's not like I got any like great spiritual words of wisdom here for anyone else out there doing this. More just me like talking into the void about, hopefully, the more I do this, the better I can get at that balance. That's kind of something I'm trying to work on at the moment, balance between work and life. But anyway, thank you again so much, everybody out there who makes this thing work. I had such a great time at Oddities, and I'm loving all the commission stuff that I'm doing as well right now. So massive thank you for everyone out there who's gotten me on board with various commission projects. Super stoked on that. But with that being said, I think it's time for some match of the week. Okay, ladies and gents, we are back for another edition of the Match of the Week, special thingy of this podcast. And this week, I have two very special matches. I mean, I like to think they're all somewhat special, but these ones in particular just really shouted out to me that I needed to be talking to someone here today that can really appreciate the special vibes that these matches bring. And the first guy that I thought about, I swung a message to, and I have on the line today. Welcome back to the show, dear friend of Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Richard of Video Plant.
Thank you so much for the intro. Happy to be here to chat about these two matches.
Oh, mate, I like I said, you were honestly the first guy that I thought about when I thought about, like, more so than each match on their own, but also like the combination of these two matches representing to me like kind of like the two extreme, very different ends of the wonder of professional wrestling, and you were really someone that I thought could get on board with that.
Absolutely, thank you. I mean, in terms of connecting it to the video plant, I love the. I'm a big fan of the Fall Brawl War Games VHS.
Yes.
It's got a kind of a well-known cover, and I've got the tape right here. And so when you mentioned it, I was really excited. I thought I might have time to watch it on VHS, but I didn't. I wasn't able to pull it off. But I got it right here. Got the cover. I'm looking at it.
Oh, tremendous. It's such a cool cover. I remember getting this thing from the video store that we had here back in the day. I think it was a Blockbuster Video that we had here in the Brisbane suburbs back in the day. And just thinking it was so cool that like classic green and yellow, like the classic sort of like chain link fence kind of motif. Is this the one that has like the tank as part of the logo-y thing as well?
Yeah, this cover has, it's got the green and yellow Fall Brawl. It's got War Games inside the little tank. And it's got, those hands gripping onto the cage. And at the bottom it says uncut and unedited, which, you'd think there'd be a lot of blood with that, but not this time. Not this one.
I mean, sadly, this was during that period of the blood ban of WCW, in which famously Dustin Rhodes would end up getting fired from the company for in that incredible King of the Road match that he would have shortly after this. But yeah, if anything, this is such a perfect War Games match, and the only ingredient missing is blood.
Yeah, I mean, when we get towards the end, I have a little. There was one moment where I thought, "Oh my god, this would have been perfect for blood." But like you said, I mean, it kind of works to its advantage. You're kind of almost waiting for it, and it doesn't happen, of course, but a lot of crazy stuff does. So uh, it works out. But yeah. I mean, this is a fun match. This match is one. It goes by so fast. It's
Yeah,
kind of
it
in and
really
out.
does for
Yeah,
War Games. It's kind of drawn out. But before we jump fully into the War
yeah.
Games, I just wanted to see how you going, man. Like, what's the haps in your world at the moment?
Going pretty well. You know, it's kind of a busy time of the year with the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
just with work and life in general. But doing well. Been working on the Video Plant website quite a bit with any free time I have. So that's been
So excited! I was just talking to this about there's this wonderful couple that I met at the Oddities Sydney event over this past weekend.
yeah.
Because as you know, I try to go to the different like local historic kind of cinemas when I'm in town, and we got talking about the Ritz Cinema in Randwick, which is one of Sydney's most beautiful historic cinemas. I had just the one of the nights prior seen a 35 millimeters film screening of Royal Tenenbaums,
Oh wow.
which was just absolutely delightful. I'm a big fan of Wes Anderson, so that was just such a good time to rewatch and re-enjoy that movie. But so I was talking to this couple, and I was like, "Oh, great! What did you guys see at the Ritz?" And they said they saw um, Salo or Salo, or how do you pronounce it?
Yeah. Sallow or 120 Days of Sodom. Yeah.
Yes, and I, of course, got talking to them about yourself and about the video plant project, and they started following the Instagram, and they were very excited for this upcoming launch of the
Oh
website. But
God.
man, I was so intrigued about like the idea of watching that movie in a cinema with a whole bunch of other people.
I've done it before. I've experienced that for a screening series called Bleak Week.
Oh,
I think
great!
it was called. And the curator, when he started before the screening, he asked the audience to raise their hands, like who all hasn't seen this. And most of the audience raised their hand, and the person next to me was like, "Oh my god!" Um, and that was quite the experience. I'm sure they had. Yeah, it's a weird thing to say to like to be associated with in terms of the movies out there, but hopefully when the website's up, there will be that little nugget of why it's on the site. The discussion of it, but that's really exciting that they saw we're able to see it in person. And I'll have to Google that theater and check it out. Sounds cool.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. If you ever make it over to these parts, I'd definitely my two favorite cinemas in the country. I'd have to say the Ritz there in Randwick, and then the Astor Theatre down in Melbourne in Windsor. Another
Nice.
beautiful old cinema. But yeah, man, I just wrapped up the Oddities tour of the big one of Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney. So it was a bit of a whirlwind, as I've been telling you otherwise. But
Yeah.
man, I'm happy to be through it. I'm a little bit sad that it's over, to be honest, because it was a lot of work, but it was
Wow.
such a lovely time. But yeah, like really cool getting to meet people like that, and like exchange passions, and brought me back a lot to the reason why I run this podcast, and
Mm,
that's to be able to exchange passions about this stuff. I guess about wrestling at the end of the day, but also brings me so much happiness that we can sort of like also nerd out over sort of like weird cinema as well.
absolutely. There's kind of a weird, wrestling kind of has its own kind of connection to cinema in a weird way.
Mm.
So yeah, it seems like the perfect kind of. It's weird. The video plant is like it's half wrestling. There's an entire wrestling wall. So Um, yeah, it's and yeah. Anyway, it's just fun to talk about these things, and yeah, that's cool that
Yeah.
you were able to after that kind of grind of doing all those that you're able to leave it and kind of have a bittersweet feeling about it. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's sort of you end up I'm quite tired, after all the
Yeah.
travel and everything that
Oh,
it
sure.
is, and three massive weekends in a row. But it's just such a great time. And now that I'm sort of like over it and all done with, get to chop it up here on the podcast, and then I've got a wrestling club event to prepare for to
Nice.
tidy up that playlist.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm always curious to. I always try to I'm looking at your Instagram thing and seeing. I'm always curious what you're playing on these wrestling club shows.
I mean, I try with this podcast to sort of like break it down. Like, I really like
Hmm.
of late us being able to do those kind of like night debrief evenings, and we kind of run through everything that was played, and how it sort of like vibed on the night, and the ones that hit, and a different kind of like in person thing of everyone kind of like watching these matches together.
Yeah,
And I guess that's front of mind, talking about like these two matches. I mean, one of them was the one that we played at Wrestling Club, and was a really big part of that night in question. I tried to do as many promos and all that incredible stuff that led up to this incredible war games that was. I have to say, like, looking at it all in all, including like all of the promos and the twists and turns, and the great Dustin reunion promo. Man, this has got to be one of the most underrated feuds that culminates in a war games that there has ever been, I would say.
it's quite the interesting ensemble of people. To be honest, I don't know too much about like the story building up to it. This has always been kind of a VHS tape that uh, I wanted to own, primarily for the cover, if I'm being
Mm.
honest. And then when I watched it, I was like, really take it. I like the Nasty Boys. I know some people don't like
Mm.
them, but I'm a
I
big
used to be not a fan of this, right? So I was a part
yeah,
of the crowd of everyone like, oh, they're just like Hogan's buddies. They suck. They
yeah.
all this, and then you go back and watch some of those matches, and they actually had some great stuff in WWF and like that early '90s kind of period, and then there's WCW matches. Like, for me, it doesn't get much better than like their matches against like the Steiners.
Yes,
The
the Halloween
Steiners just
Havoc,
beat the crap out of them. Oh
dude.
my
That
gosh! But
that
they
match
bring
is
it
so
too.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say that match, the Max Payne and the Cactus Jack
Oh,
tag
so
matches,
good.
those are probably the three the three that I'm like, I like them. And there's also they have a good bit on one of the Coliseum video VHS tapes where they go into a video store and tear it apart. But also like the aesthetic of like just the spackled paint kind of gear is cool.
Yeah.
And the
Oh man, I
sunglasses, but
need me one of
yeah.
those nasty dreams spackled paint shirts that Dusty is wearing in this. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes, the Nasty Dreams. I, maybe you can find one online. I don't know, or maybe you have to make one. I don't know.
Either way, this is the level where like you really have to put in the work, I feel, to pull that off, which I'm here for.
Yeah, well, yeah, this match, I'll have to see if I can find some of the promos you were talking about. The match itself is pretty wild.
Oh yeah, I mean it's worth you definitely going back and watching some of those TV shows in the lead up. But I mean I think the VHS itself does a really good job of capturing the feud, to an extent. I know like during the thing they have a few great backstage promos throughout the show where they're talking to the stud stable, and they show the episode of WCW Saturday Night where they do the big reveal that
Oh,
that Colonel Robert Parker it is, Meng is not allowed to be in the match, and Colonel Robert Parker's going to be in the match, and he's just, oh my lord, I don't even own a pair of tights. Oh,
I should have watched this tape and I should have known better because it does say on the cover over 3 hours of wrestling action. So this thing's packed with all the things you're talking about, apparently.
oh, the whole show is great. And then an incredible promo as well backstage with the Team Nasty Dreams. And it just captures so much of the wonderful, like how great, like crazy off the wall promos that you get from this era. And then even in the actual, when they get to the match, they throw back and they show that great classic promo of Dusty and Dustin kind of coming back together as father and son, and some of those twists and turns and how we got to the War Games. Just so good.
I'll have to pop it back in. It's been a while. I do remember, I think this is the one, there's I think Nick Bockwinkel is like the commissioner or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, okay, yeah. I remember that because it was during a phase where I was watching those Nick Bockwinkel promos with Bobby Heenan. So I remember that. But yeah, I'll have to give it a rewatch. I should have watched the tape rather than just the match online, but
but anyhow. Okay. This works in both ways.
Right.
We get to enjoy it just, in and of itself, but then, also works with the context. But so this one officially took place. This was our 107th edition of the Match of the Week. Took place on September 18th of 1994 at WCW's Full Brawl War Games pay-per-view from Roanoke, Virginia. And man, it just captured so much of the vibe of the time as well. We had Michael Buffer doing the start of ring introduction. We had Mean Gene running over the rules of the War Games. The incredible commentary duo of Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan. Bobby is so great. But there's so much to love about this, even outside of the bell to bell action.
Yeah, 94 was a pretty good run there for a little bit with the WCW pay-per-views too. I remember watch the Spring Stampede. Like I think I'm getting that right. But yeah, there was a little bit of a run there. I think also that there was that Flair Hogan cage match after this one. So there was some fun stuff in this yeah, actually, now I can think about it. Yeah, I like this era. But yeah, it had been a while.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sweet.
And this pay-per-view itself was just quite good too. We had the opener of Regal and Johnny B. Bad in a very underrated match. It's so good. I think we also get that great what do they call it? The triangle match. I remember you were telling me about it. The one with Boss Man and Vader and Sting.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Match. So all in all, very, very good pay-per-view here.
Yeah, indeed. And there's also a good Cactus Jack match on here, I think.
The Loser Leaves Town of him and Kevin Sullivan, right?
Yeah, damn it. I might just pop this tape in on this weekend and just let it rip,
Heck yeah.
Well, during the pandemic, I watched a lot of the tapes from beginning to end. It was so fun, because there was so much time just to kind of to power through them, but it's been a long while. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see. If I do, I'll let you know.
Heck yeah, please. But yeah, this match starts and oh my gosh, I think I really love how they have everyone come down together to the ring and then everyone's waiting at ringside as opposed to doing individual entrances. I think it adds so much to it. I really love when I rewatch this, the cuts from the action to the reaction of the rest of the team on the outside, and especially of Colonel Robert Parker.
Dude,
oh my gosh,
he's incredible. I'm a big. There's that part for me, just before Dustin puts Arn's head between the two rings. They show that close up of Colonel Parker. He's clenching his napkin or his and he's just it's like really awesome camera work too. It's like it cuts from his reaction, looking upward towards Dustin as he twists Arn's like head into the rings. That's probably the thing I think about when I think of this War Games is the two spots in between the two rings that are just so awesome. But yeah, he's really just like, you know, putting Arn right, just pounding him through, and the camera's just looking upward. It's so awesome. But yeah, that cut in between with Colonel Parker as he's like losing his mind is so comedic and but so right,
Oh yeah, it was such a highlight for me when we showed this at the bar, and we had everyone kind of
Oh,
there like reacting to it, and same thing with some of those like promos beforehand, but especially in this match, like people would be into the match, and then we would cut to like Robert Parker, and there would be like an audible reaction from everyone that's sitting there of just him like having those vapors just like dabbing away all like he has so much sweat.
dude, I was gonna say at the end, right before he goes in, like the camera's behind him, and you just see he's just drenched in sweat, and it's like, oh my god, this guy's like, it's so incredible. He's like trying not to go. I mean, yeah, that's later, but yeah, he's a big part of why this is so appealing and fun to watch. It
Yeah,
keeps
like
coming
it's
back
so
to him.
campy, but it's so
Yes,
great.
absolutely, yeah. Um,
Definition of sweating bullets, I think.
oh my god, yes. Um, yeah, like I was thinking about the beginning of the match is pretty. It's like the first 5 minutes is Dustin and Arn, I feel like, and
Yeah.
then from there it's just kind of like one after the other. But one moment that really sticks out to me is uh there's a few. I mean, there's a few, but the Dustin dives over those two ropes
Oh my gosh,
and
I was
takes
gonna
out Arn.
say, dude, what a
Dude,
what a crazy like spot like of a guy that's such a big boy like Dustin, like
yeah,
doing
he
a running dive
launches.
over both.
He launches and Shivani, oh yeah, Tony Schiavone is so great in this too. He's like,
Mm.
he jumps over the ropes. But then after that, he uses the top of the cage to pull himself and kick Arn to the ropes. And
Yes.
that's why I love these, like at least the early ones, like the 91 and 92 as well. The top of the cage is so low,
Mm.
and they utilize it as like a way of force.
Oh,
I
nothing I
just
love
love it.
better than when them like bumping the guy's head against like the roof of the
Oh,
cage. So
absolutely.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was rad. And then I remember like shortly after Sags enters, he slams Bunkhouse against the cage. You remember
Oh
that? And he
gosh,
like
yes.
falls in between the ropes. And that got a pretty good like crowd reaction. There's some of those moments there's like that, oh. Um
Oh,
yeah,
a
I feel like
guy that I need to like give his flowers to, and I like to think I do at every one of our wrestling clubs, who really has just he's just gone up and up in esteem in my opinion, is Bunkhouse Buck. Just so great, very reminiscent of like a Terry Funk in terms of those
yeah,
great crazy wily cells, and him getting all like tangled up in the ropes, and just this real slapstick kind of thing, but just being such a solid worker as well. Great punches, like everything about
absolutely.
Bunkhouse. I just adore.
Yeah, he really shines in this match. Like, yeah, the comedy, it works though. Everything works in this. Like, it's it's not so much like the previous. It's not so much a violent match as it is like an action packed one. If that
Mm,
makes But yeah, I also like that there's just like four guys, right?
yeah,
Just four of them, and so it really kind of evens it out. It's not too cluttered, which works to the flow. It works to the flow of the match in a way that I really like.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it really does a great job. Of sort of like the action. So you get your first, what was it, like 5 minutes for the first two, but then we've got 2 minutes, intervals thereafter when the guys are coming in, and I think it's
Mm,
great to like keep that action moving. And it's enough time for the new guy to come in and really make his presence known, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm always such a sucker for, like, of course the bad guy team has to win the advantage on
Oh yeah.
that coin flip. Like, this match so does not work if the good guys ever have the advantage.
No, of course not. And then there's that point too where like he flips the coin and the ref almost loses it.
Yeah, he drops
like,
it. He
drops it. Yeah. Even that, like, little moments like that, so good. I gotta say also, yeah, go ahead.
I really thought about that coin bit, right, when I rewatched this, and I was like, was Colonel Robert Parker meant to sort of like slap his hand or something to make him drop the coin, and then Colonel Robert Parker maybe picks it up, and then obviously he gets the sneaky thing of being able to cheat on the coin toss, because at this point, I don't know how many war games we've had where every single time the bad guys happen to win. So I was like, was that something they put in there that maybe in reality, like, did not actually, come across quite as well in practice?
Oh man!
But maybe just a little something in there to maybe make it a little bit more plausible that that dastardly Colonel Robert Parker has cheated on the coin toss. I don't know.
He's so good. I'm trying to think of I don't know. He's kind of like, you ever see the movie Clue?
I've not.
Oh, it's a good campy 1980s movie, but kind of reminds me of a character that would be in like this ensemble cast who's just kind of serving this comedic, outrageous performance. But yeah, major props to him. Yeah, I also gotta say, like, the intro to Funk going into the match. Also, he's the greatest, but it cuts to him. I think, like, it cuts to him like trying to throw a chair into the ring, and it just bounces off the top of the cage. Like, so it's amazing. It's just like he's just this wild madman, and then he like flies into the ring with his boot and just flops over the rope in between the rings instantly, and it's like, it's so comical, but again, in the best way. It's
a great crowd pop. Even like,
yes,
like Tony on commentary is like, he's even willing to hurt himself, or something like that.
It's perfect. Yeah. So yeah, God, yeah. And then there's also I'm probably jumping ahead, but another moment that really sticks out to me is when Funk's bashing Dustin's head into the cage, and Shivani's like, right in front of his father. and like Shivani's really trying to like he says it, he's like, oh, and it's right in front of his father, and like Dusty's just looking at Dustin's head get bashed in front of him. So
just like not
awesome.
selling it whatsoever.
Yeah, that's another just hilarious moment. And again, this is like, at this point, we're just like flying through the match. And then
there's another bit in there where, like, in this, I think the dichotomy of like the father and son of Dustin and Dusty is such a big part of this match, but it's like so humorous in various points where, because before this we got this great heartfelt promo of Dustin saying how he basically, Dusty telling Dustin he failed him as a father and everything, and he's back now, and he needs him to forgive him, and he gives him a hug and everything. A beautiful moment. I cry every time I watch that promo.
Oh my God.
But the in this match, it's so great that it, like, almost like they've completely gone back, and Dusty just has this like hard kind of like expectations of his son in it. Like, there's a point when Dustin's getting his ass kicked by like 3 men, and like I think Bobby even says something about it. He's like, this is your fault, Dusty. You put yourself in here. And Dusty's just yelling out, just like, be tough, Dusty.
Oh my God. All right. I'm gonna, I don't know when, but soon I will watch the tape where I can see all this. I tried doing a quick search online, because on your post you mentioned the backstory, and I don't remember a lot of that from the watch from a few years ago. So I'll watch it. I got to see this, especially if it made you cry.
It's absolutely. I think when people talk about the greatest Dusty promos of all time, and And there are some absolutely wonderful ones. I don't think you can top that one of him, reuniting with his son. And oh man, it's one of those ones that just sort of like goes past professional wrestling. It's sort
Oh,
of just, yeah, just such a wonderful thing. But then yeah, just the contrast from that to this match where
yeah, dude.
Dustin seems like he could give a shit about his son in so many ways.
I
Tremendous.
I I love when it transcends and it like something makes me emotional. Like
Yeah,
what else? Yeah, so good. So I'll give it a watch and then I'll message you my
please.
thoughts.
Please do. But yeah, Terry in this match with the cowboy boot and just
Oh,
it's ridiculous shit. I think my favorite part officially on this match, at least on my rewatch of it this time around,
mhm.
uh, was the. So I think this is after the bit where the other team, sort of turns it around, but then eventually they get the boot, and then
Mm.
Terry is getting his comeuppance with this boot. And my gosh, he sells this so well. Like Dustin has got the boot, and he's just bludgeoning Terry with it.
Mm.
And he takes a few blows with it, and then he finally like is staggering for the last one, just waiting for it. Dustin hits him with it, and he just does a full like loop de loop spin around, like just complete cartoon cell, and
Yeah.
it is like the best thing I've ever seen.
That's the thing. Anytime I get, Terry Funk is in a match, just watching him alone, his antics, it's like kind of reminds me of like he's like a Buster Keaton. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff, but
Yes,
his
yes,
physical, the way he moves, like I don't know, he's just so unique in the way that his like over the top um movements, they just it just works. It's mesmerizing.
and especially
Yeah.
like the way that he's able to contrast that with like going from this crazy, ridiculous slapstickness to like,
Yes.
I mean, to just going to straight like serious violence and uncomfortable
Yes.
violence all of the time is just such the magic of Terry Funk.
Absolutely. And, and with this match in particular, I love that right before he's going in the cage, he already has that boot in his hand. He's taking it
Yes,
off
and he's
already.
sort of trying to hide it from the referee, right?
It's and then he goes, and you're like, what? And then you see him, and you're like, okay, yeah, he's got a one boot on and a sock on the other foot. Like that's his boot, and he's going to use his weapon. So good. I will say, since we're speaking about Funk, the
Mm.
other moment that comes to mind when I think of this match is when Knobs pile drives Funk in between the rings.
Oh yes,
Kind
he
of he
just
kind of botches
disappears.
it, and he just falls right in between. It's so awesome. It just it's so good. It's like I don't know if that was uh, if things went according to plan, but it did for me just visually. And he just like crawls out of the center of the ring. So good.
The way he like comes back up out is almost like reminiscent of Jim Carrey coming out of the
Oh,
back of like the
the
rhinoceros.
rhino, the ass. Yeah. Oh my god.
And he comes
Oh.
up and he's like, on rewatch, I really noticed this. He's holding this weird, I don't know whether it's something that like holds the pyro or something. So it's like
Yeah.
weird piece of metal, and he just kind of like punches like knobs or sags like in the crotch
Hmm.
with it. Just this tiny little moment that you wouldn't even notice unless you really pay close attention to it. It's so great.
I love it. He was down there. He's like, I'll use this. I'll use this thing. So good.
Yes,
Um.
I really really loved as well the moment when like when you're watching it, like when he's again with the boot, I think flashing back a couple moments, and I can't remember, he might be working over Dustin in the ropes, and then he like gets up on top of the top rope to hit him from like a higher angle or something,
mm,
and you're like, what are you doing, Terry? Like, what are you doing here? And then, of course, the tides get turned on him, and he gets crotched on that top rope.
oh yes.
And that was, of course, the moment that I chose for the illustration in question, and just then him like bouncing him up and down on that top rope and selling it, and Terry selling it like only Terry could. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
You've seen it before, but it's awesome. Yeah, it's so good. Um, that's interesting. Yeah, then now you say that, I'm always I think about that sometimes when I look at your illustrations. I'm like, oh, like he chose this moment, and I'm always curious why. And it sounds like you have by the end of a match, you have like quite a few moments to really decide upon.
It can be really hard sometimes because, in a lot of ways, for
Yeah.
this one, I probably otherwise, like I said before, I really, really love that bit where he finally like hits him with the boot and he has this tremendous spinning cell. But it's just one of those ones where I couldn't really get to work as well, like visually, to capture sort of like
Mm,
everything that was going on, and especially these old sort of like footage. It can be quite hard to get like a frame that gives you sort of a good reference image to kind of work from.
mm,
More lately, I kind of like generally sometimes combine a little bit of like a couple of stills of a few seconds apart to get the best of each one for reference purposes. But yeah, I ended up going with the bit where it's crutched on the top rope because it's just so inherently Terry, and also the lead up to it where you're just like, what are you doing on the top rope, Terry? Like, it's just so ridiculous, but the
he's a
payoff
mad,
is so good.
he's a madman. It's so awesome. Yeah, and I was talking about earlier. I was with when I was thinking about Colonel Parker.
Mm-hmm.
When he enters the cage, we see his back. He's he's drenched in sweat from his nervousness, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but as I was rewatching it, of course, I knew there was no blood, but I was thinking, God, he's all in white. It would have been,
Oh,
if there was going to be somebody who was just going to gush blood, it would have been so incredible had he gone in there and just started bleeding all over that sweaty white suit he was wearing.
oh yeah.
But I'm not. It's awesome. I'm not hating on it by any means, but it's just those moments you're like, oh wow, if I was watching that match today, I'd be like, oh, he's gonna be covered in blood. He's wearing all white.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what could have been for sure. It's just
Absolutely.
it's something I'm always a sucker for of that, going back to that incredible Santito versus LA Park Monterey
Oh God.
bloodbath where Park's just in the
Oh,
complete white, and yeah, man, always a sucker for that.
love that.
This is Michael Rosenbaum. Hey, folks, let me tell you that drinking and driving is a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI because legal fees and time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Also, with this match, kind of like it's I wouldn't say it's shorter. It's a short match by any means, but it does get in and out. It's like when they
Mm,
finally get to that finish with the figure fours. Is that right?
yeah, which is like, looking back, it was such a great finish. It's like Colonel
Yeah,
Parker finally gets in the ring. He does not want to be there. Proceeds to very quickly, as soon as Dusty is in. Like, I mean, he has the great bit where he like tries to punch him, and then he like, even acts like he like hurt his own hand by attempting to punch him, which is
yes,
so
love that,
great.
love that. And he does get some good belt whips in there. Near the
Yeah,
end, I will say he gets some good moments. Yeah, that punch is awesome, but
and I
the
think
end
they
is
did it really plausible with the idea that in like in reality, Robert Parker was a tremendous professional wrestler for many many years. Part of the Welch family, and so much
Hmm.
history in that sort of like Alabama territory, I guess. But in WCW context, he is not a wrestler. He is just a rich. I don't know if he's like an oil tycoon or what he is, but he's just a rich fellow who is in here, and he's not a wrestler. And then, within the context of it, I think they do a great job of, like making his offense kind of like plausible in that
Yeah,
way. And
totally.
then, it really doesn't take much for as soon as Dusty comes in, it all comes crashing down so fast. And then, of
It
course,
does.
Dusty gets him in the figure four. Nasty Boys are just dropping elbows on him. And of
Yep,
course, he would give up at that point.
absolutely. I thought it was great. It was so fun to rewatch. Like I said, I don't think I had seen it since the pandemic, and I didn't remember a lot of that stuff. So, um, a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to watch it with the intention of talking about it because yeah, and also like another thing too, it's such a colorful match. It's got
Mm,
that mid '90s colorful energy. It's lit pretty bright in that era. Just really works to the advantage of what the match is without the blood.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think this has got to be, hands down one of my favorite War Games matches. I mean, I think my all-time favorite is still that first one, with the four horsemen against
Oh yeah,
Dusty and Nikita and the Road Warriors. Um, like just such a perfect encapsulation of what the War Games is meant to be. But
yep,
I also have a lot of love for like the Sting Squadron Dangerous Alliance one, which is another like really really great one on rewatch. But this is so up there. Like I think this has got to be either 2 or 3 for me, and I think it maybe
love it.
probably changes depending on the day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the match beyond the first one also has an incredible cover, VHS
Yes.
cover.
Oh
And
my
I think
gosh.
this tape is kind of almost paying like homage to that
Mm-hmm.
cover, but yeah, that one is awesome. I also really like my favorite might be, I don't know, is the 91, the one with Pillman where he just gets obliterated.
Oh yeah, with Sid Vicious, right?
Yes, with Vicious, yeah. And Flair's got like a really short haircut just before he's on his way out of WCW.
Is that the
But
one with Doctor Death in it as well?
um,
Steve Williams. I want to
I
say like 'cause
think
I remember there's a great bit where I want to say it's
yeah,
Steve who's like got him up in the military press and he's just like banging him into
yeah,
the top of the roof.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I actually don't know for sure. Is it Larry's? What's his name? Larry
Larry Zabisco.
Zabisco, I think, is in that one. Now I can't remember, but I love it. And then the giant comes in at the end. Is that right?
That's probably a bit early for the giant,
Or
but
no? What's his name? Not
I'm
the
not sure.
giant, but oh gosh, I'm getting all mixed up. I need to rewatch it. But yeah, I do
Yes,
love
me too.
the 91 one as well. But the Dangerous Alliance, or yeah, is it the Dangerous Alliance? Is that what it was with
Yeah.
yeah
The
with
poorly
Paul?
dangerously led, incredible super heel faction. One of the
Yeah,
greatest
with
factions of all time, I would say.
even had like Medusa climbs the
Mm,
top in that one. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I love that 91, 92 like double feature. When AEW did the first Blood and Guts, I went back and rewatched the 87, 91, and 92, and I might have to do that again now that we're talking war games. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be intrigued to see on fresh rewatch for yourself which one ends up
yeah,
ahead.
I'll let you know.
Um, yeah, that's so great. And then we go to something completely different for
Yes.
our second match of our double feature here today. We go to match of the week number 108. We're in Mexico. We're in Lucha Memes. We're in Arena or Coliseo Huacalco. A tremendous, gritty, hardcore, independent lucha show vibe. Semi outdoors. We've got a tin roof. We've got bush plants in the background. We've got a dirt floor. This has got to be one of my favorite wrestling venues of all time. This is like kind of like when I used to play Street Fighter as a kid, and used to have like the different kind of like levels with the different
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
different
Yeah.
backgrounds. This is like such a perfect background for just an absolute pure Yaveo showcase, a clinic of a match. Esto es Lucha. This one took place on July 28th, 2024, for Lucha Memes between Rey Jacero and Gelwa. And my gosh, this thing, I only originally watched it thanks to Lucha Memes actually sharing it on their Twitter, because they had a fundraiser going where they were trying to get a new ring. So it was sort of like I watched it at that point, and then their rivalry has now like gone on further from that. But in a lot of ways, this was kind of the start of it. So I was very grateful for Lucha Memes for sharing that one, and everyone can check that one out for themselves. But man, I enjoyed the heck out of this in a totally different way.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for you illustrating this because I hadn't seen it. This wasn't on my radar, and Hechicero in 2024 was on a tear.
Yes.
I had a ton of fun. I think he was like, I have a list of my favorite matches every year I do, and he had so many on there, and it was really exciting to just see another match from 2024 because this match was awesome. Yeah, dude, there's something to be said about these intimate matches with like no commentary and handheld cameras just outside the ring. And
such a vocal small crowd too.
Oh my god, the crowd was awesome. Yeah. And like I say, the environment, the energy, it was so have you been there?
This is one of my great regrets that I wasn't able to make it to this one on my trip to Mexico earlier in the year. But whenever I make it back to Mexico, I'm going to make a point to go here because it just seems like such a cool environment, to watch wrestling, and especially to watch lucha.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I was I get really, kind of intoxicated by the like certain elements of matches like where they take place. And this one, like even the green mat it's kind of like didn't perfectly, I guess, mold or fit the ring, but it added so much to the match for me. I did go to the fundraiser site, which is so cool, and I saw like the new ring, and I know that they're still taking donations, which is awesome.
Yes.
And it looked so, even like those photos, like seeing photos of it, that tin roof and those like tarps. It just it's like, God, I would love to be in that crowd for that match, because when it starts, it's not super loud, but immediately when it does start, the horns are going and the crowd's really engaged with all the back and forth exchanges, and just again, kind of an intoxicating match. You just kind of get sucked in.
It's so much vibes, good. Right? Like, I mean, outside of it being an awesome match, like there's so much just sort of like surrounding it atmospherically that I think really just is so much to love and so charming.
Totally. It's funny. I watched this. I got up really early this morning and I watched this match this morning before work. And when I was done with work, I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna watch that match again." It's one of those matches. It's like I said, kind of intoxicating. It sucks you in, and so I was excited to go back, and it kind of took me by surprise. That's why I love whenever we do these shows, because like you'll throw a match my way I haven't seen, and often I'm like, "Oh yeah," like where was it, the astronauts match we talked about? That was also a really cool environment. So the vibes of it were so awesome, and I think it really helped shine this style of match. How would you describe? You had a word to describe this style match. What was it?
Yeah, like probably Yave or
Yeah.
Yaveo. That sort of real classic, sort of like
Oh,
reactive lucha submission based kind of like wrestling.
I love it. It's so good. And Hechicero is so much fun to watch. He is
Mm,
so he's so athletic for his build. He
yeah.
reminds me of this might seem like a weird thing to say, but there's the NBA. I grew up watching Charles Barkley, the NBA
Mm-hmm.
player, play. He
Yeah.
kind of he's like the Charles Barkley of pro wrestling, which is a huge compliment, by the way.
Yeah.
He's just super athletic and super. He can do it all. I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, I was
I
gonna say
love that.
also there's kind of like a master and an apprentice kind of vibe with this
Oh,
match.
for sure,
You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like,
I mean, I think that's a massive part of the story here because we've
hmm,
got Hechicero who, like, from the entrance on, he is reacted to, by this crowd as the returning hero. So a bit of backstory on Hechicero. He kind of was like the king of the hardcores for a long time. He was, doing a lot of stuff with lucha memes like back in the day and different independent kind of groups as being this sort of like technical wizard. And he wasn't getting much in CMLL. And then over time, eventually, it was almost like a bit of a Brian Danielson kind of like story where
hmm,
the company finally did get behind him. A big part of that seemed to be through COVID, funnily enough, where they had a bunch of guys like leave. I think that was when like just before that was when like Roosh and Dragon Lee and like a bunch of guys left, so it left a opening that so Hechicero was finally able to kind of like get to that level that he really deserved for so long, and it was sort of like such an organic thing of. I think that's a big reason why the crowd reacts to him so great in CMLL these days. But so him coming back to lucha memes uh, is a big part of it. I think he's been a familiar face every now and then, but it's not like he's there
hmm.
on every show with especially with his crazy schedule that he has now with AEW. Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
god.
But then we have Jelwa, who is just such a mind-blowingly great wrestler to me for a guy who in this match he's 20 years old. Um, which is just nuts, especially for this style. Like, this is such a
Yeah.
style that requires like a lifetime to master kind of thing. Because it's not just like being able to put together a series of spots and you practiced out your spots and you got it. Like, it's reactive. Um,
Yeah.
and I think he does so great in it. And it's definitely sort of like a master versus the apprentice. There's even like a few times throughout the match where he kind of like stumbles or doesn't get something like quite right. And it kind of like adds to it for me because it adds
Yeah.
to that kind of like story. Like, oh, of course, he's like this 20-year-old kid who's like wrestling like the best in the world. Like, of course, he's gonna have moments where he's like, the pressure gets to him or whatever. But overall, I just thought this was so wonderful in so many ways.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, it's very there are those raw moments, but it adds to the character of what's going on between them. Totally. There's so much creativity going on too with their counters and there's like an artistic gracefulness to it that I really that's probably why I was so eager to watch it again. There's a lot of I don't know if creativity is the word, but yeah, they're kind of like they're gelling together.
I would say
But
definitely
yeah,
creativity, man. Like, I think you're
yeah,
right there, 100%. It's like such a creative match in sort of like I always think of this style of wrestling sort of similar to kind of like proper like jazz where it's sort of like I'll do a
yes,
bit of this so then you react to it and you
yes,
do a bit of that and it just feels so much more organic than a lot of the wrestling that you might watch otherwise.
yeah. I love that. They're kind of dancing. They're going back and forth. There's like those. They even were exchanging the what is it like the is it the La Tapatia? Is that
Yeah,
what?
yeah, like the is it the
Yeah,
Romero special kind of thing,
yeah,
like the
Romero. Yeah,
surfboard.
they're like exchanging those, which was cool.
Yes. That was when
And
the crowd really seemed like they first got
yeah,
into it. That was when we got, I think, the first like Esto es Lucha
oh,
chant, which is like, this is Lucha. Um, so good. And yeah, it just
and
seemed like the crowd was then like properly invested and like the dueling chants and everything from that point forward. Like, so cool.
so yeah, the crowd was awesome. Totally responded. I loved also that I think midway through maybe they were like doing those gnarly chops throughout.
Mm.
They're like there's when they're both on their knees chopping each other. That was pretty cool. You know, Hechicero removes his straps. I remember. Um,
Love it.
yeah, just some little moments like that I really enjoyed. And I also just thought like the last 5 minutes in particular, you know, the build to that was so awesome. There's that moment where Hechicero grabs Shelwa by the eye holes of his mask.
Yes.
He just picks him right up. So awesome. It's moments like that where you're kind of like, okay, he's the master. You know, I mean, like
Mm.
in Shelwa's the, you know, the I don't know if the apprentice is the right word, but you know, like you said, he's younger and he's not at this level, but he's there's a level of respect, I think, even though he's just grabbing him from his eye holes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you wouldn't expect to see that the other way around in this match, right? That'd be a
Right,
completely
right.
different dynamic.
And I gotta say, the I've seen it before, but that like guillotine um move where the Tiha Ross is how you say it.
Yeah,
The
yeah, the Tijeras.
dude, it looked so wicked with his head hitting that green mat.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. He hit him. It felt
so
like he
awesome.
landed so heavy with that. That was a vicious one.
Oh, it was vicious. It was so awesome. I mean, it looked brutal, but you know, I love that. It was so
Yeah.
awesome. But so yeah, I was just a big fan. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch a second time. I mean, I'm kind of like, you know, I wish it had happened just selfishly in my own kind of weird list making thing. I'm like, oh, I wish it happened this year. I put it on my list of at the end of the year, every like around December when there's like a break from work, I like to rewatch my favorite matches from the year. Um, and it's kind of like a ritual at this point. But you know what? I'll have to add it on to my 2024 list because it really was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, dude, I love that you do that. I mean, they have had they resumed the rivalry in 2025. So I know they
Yeah,
had a match in the UK, I believe, for Rev Pro, and they may have had another match in Mexico. Other than that, so there
I'll have
should
to
be
watch
some
those.
2025 stuff to track
Yes,
down because I haven't even watched those matches yet, but I'd be very intrigued to give it a watch.
good point. Because when you mentioned it to me, I was like, oh, and I did a quick search and like, oh, okay, yeah, 2025, and then I went back to your post and it had the date on there and I was like, oh, this is before I had, you know, I had the link to the match. And
Mm.
so yeah, I, I guess I was aware that there were other matches, but had forgotten about that in the last day or so. So I'll watch those. I'll watch those at least one of them to kind of see how this story continues.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm so intrigued to follow like the evolution of it as Shelwa gets like more experience. And especially like I'm not sure if you saw it, but I really loved that from that same pay-per-view, the ROH one that had the great Hechicero Bandito match. The pure title match that
Yes,
they had with Jelwa and Lee Moriarty. I
that
thought
was
that
great.
was
Here,
absolutely fantastic, and both
yes,
guys look so great in it.
I think that's the only other time I no, yeah, I mean that's the only other match I really remember of his. But yeah, that match was awesome. That was a great pay per view.
Because he
Um,
seemed to be even a bit more refined at that point than he was here, funnily enough. So you sort of see that development before your eyes. And I think that's something really cool
wow.
when you get to like watch these sort of like younger wrestlers and watch them get more experience and, work with different guys. And, I reckon it feels like at this stage, CMLL is sort of like ready to maybe go to that next level a bit more with Joa. Like it seems like so he was. Have you seen the lineups for the Grand Alternativa tournament yet?
I haven't.
So that's coming up in the next little bit. And there were two. So I think like Barboza is in one of
Mhm.
the teams, but he's obviously like getting to be a pretty big pushed star now. Anyway with the Galeon Phantasma team. But the other one that I thought was super interesting that stood out to me was Jelwa. So I wouldn't be surprised if he might be taking it all away, and that being a
Wow.
big leaping off point for him. We'll have to see how we go, but that tournament does look very interesting.
Yeah, they've got some future stars on that roster. Like he's 21, you said?
I think he might be 21 now. Yeah, when this match
21?
took place, he was 20, which is
Wow.
just insane.
And like it's been fun to watch Dorada. He's like 23.
Oh my gosh.
Just I'm a big fan of him. And now so yeah, CMLL is so fun. I love putting it on Fridays, and if I can, was it Tuesdays tonight actually? I think today right now.
Yeah. They got the Arena Mexico Tuesday shows that they do. I believe it's Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. I believe
Sundays. That's right. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they air the Sunday night ones all the time. It's more of a special kind of thing.
I go through so many. I'm such a streaky viewer and certain things. Like I go through like little, phases of I'm like super tuned in, and then I have to tune out just due to like life and work and all that stuff.
Oh,
but
I'm the same, dude.
You know what I mean? Like there's like rhythms to it. Or like I'll hear a match is awesome, then I'll watch the show. And so I'm gonna have some time off here coming up, so I'm really excited to kind of dive back into it. This I'm definitely gonna stay tuned and give this is it Jawa? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
okay.
I believe so.
Cool. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I got my 2026 calendar.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for supporting and ordering it, man.
It's so awesome. They're like these like luchadors and aliens. Yeah. I had wanted to get one the last couple of years. My wife always gets, she always like, our friends own an art store, and she'd always get the calendars, and they actually like closed that store. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get, they were ready to like be done with, like owning a store kind of, working all the time basically. So it's all good, but I took advantage of it and leaped to get this calendar. I'm so happy to have it. So yeah, dude, thanks for getting it over here.
Oh, thanks, man. I have a lot of fun doing those calendars. It's honestly like it's a nice way to sort of like get the most out of sort of the art show that I do earlier in the year. So all of that kind of like Los Luchadores versus Aliens was all that kind of like concept art show from earlier in the year at the Scratch. So I create all that kind of like new work that I try to in my mind it's sort of like it's like kind of B grade spaghetti western sci-fi movie of my dreams. But yeah, it's like cool to then be able to put that in calendar form, and then for the idea that people can then have it on their wall for all of next year, and then month by month kind of like go through and get to soak up these different artworks and illustrations. Like I get a big kick out of it.
It's awesome. You got the International Beer Day here. Santa's birthday. You put my birthday in here. Thank you so much for that note. That was awesome.
Dude, no
my wife was like, "Oh my God, that's so nice." Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, dude, I love it. Happy to finally get one. How many years have you been doing the calendar?
I believe this is the third one I've done. Yeah, I've sort of started that tradition of taking the show that I did that year and then putting it out in calendar form. So yeah, I'm just trying to work out when I'll be looking to do my solo show of next year, and deciding on the concept and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how we're looking for 2027 for the calendar, I guess.
It's so crazy to think that it's going to be 2027 in a year from now, of course. But yeah, it's a wild thing to think about.
Yeah, it's definitely, we're getting to those years of the dystopian future 80s sci-fi movie version of it's, I mean, in a lot of ways you could everything that's happening in the world right now, you could be oh yeah, this is a dystopian future.
Dude, I think of RoboCop because one of the best sci-fi movies of all time, because when you look at sci-fi movies are
I
often
was
like,
just raving about that movie to my friend
oh,
Josh the other day when I caught up with him Sydney to be in Sydney. Literally, I was raving to him about how great that first RoboCop movie is,
so good.
and how ridiculously violent it is as well.
Oh, dude, it's so violent, and also like, like the commercials and the news casts throughout. Like we're living in that now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like it's grim, but it's so fun. It's a funny movie too. So awesome. But yeah, I mean, it feels like today, which is
yeah.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it comes up on you slowly, so I guess you
Yeah.
don't notice the ridiculous times that we're living in. But I mean, outside of like the AI stuff
Oh,
and like
yeah.
robotic weapons and drones and like robots killing people, like
Yeah.
we're living in RoboCop right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, pretty wild. Because I was like, you think of sci-fi movies and they're often so polished and pristine, and they don't have like, but like you know the the stench of the previous years. RoboCop
Mm,
has that. You know what I mean? It's got the vehicle. It doesn't even like in the 80s. It felt kind of like the 80s. If you watch it in the 90s, it feels like the 90s. And now
mm.
there's just some kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think we're living in RoboCop times. Huh.
I think you're right. Absolutely. I think it's time for a rewatch of RoboCop
There
to
you go.
bring some
You know,
fun to it.
there might be a RoboCop posting on the website. You might have you
Ooh.
might have some of those fun commercials from that movie on the site. So we will
Oh
see.
my gosh, everyone stay tuned on that. I'll
Yeah,
definitely be dropping all developments for the launch of the Video Plant website for you guys as soon as I know. So
yeah,
yeah, man, watching with bated breath for that.
yeah. Doing my best to just power through it. Every day is a little victory when I can get to it. I hadn't been able to work on it for a little bit there, but yep, it's coming in 2026. So not 2027, 2026. Um, but yeah, dude, it's so fun to talk these matches with you.
Dude, thank you.
Awesome
I
matches.
obviously have a lot of fun like getting a nerd out about it
Yeah,
and chop
dude.
it up and yeah, especially a match like both of these very vastly different,
Hmm.
but both kind of like embracing like for me kind of like what makes the art of professional wrestling in their own kind of like beautiful ways.
Love it. Absolutely. I'm excited to watch this Fall Brawl '94 tape. I'm
Heck
excited
yeah.
to see these moments you've told me about with fresh eyes, with an understanding of how it relates to the match. So thanks for gearing me up for that.
Oh, dude, no worries. And while you're at it, I'd highly recommend
Mm.
that amazing Clash of the Champions match that we have. That's also a part of the lead up of this match with
Mm.
Terry Funk and Bunkhouse Buck teaming
Oh,
up against Dusty Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes. That was the one that I played on our Father's Day edition of Wrestling Club.
awesome.
Uh, Father and son teaming up together, and of course preceded by that beautiful promo that I was telling you about. That I'd like to think maybe brought some tears to the everyone watching
Oh my God.
watching Wrestling Club at the
Dude,
bar that night.
I love that. I haven't seen that match either, so I'm gonna watch it. I'll message you when I have watched it. Whether or
Cool,
not it's this
awesome.
weekend, we will see. But
No
it will
rush,
happen.
man. Just enjoy it, even if you want to,
Thank you.
take it slow and watch it a little, bit by bit
Yeah.
as you get to the lead up. It's one that
Okay.
really like the whole feud. I'd say rewards like you giving it like the time and trying to watch every little bit that builds up to it as you possibly can. I remember like yeah, going just through every bit of like WCW Pro, WCW Saturday Night I think there was like another another WCW weekly show that they had at that time as well, that I was like going through to see, oh, is there any like promos or anything on these that in any way lead up to this, and just going through it all with a fine tooth comb. But it's just been such a rewarding process.
I love that. I love, like, when I was doing the building the whole storyline of Sting and Vader for the
Yeah.
White Castle of Fear. I went back and watched all the Saturday night episodes, to kind of like
Yes.
from the beginning for that feud. That's for that specific, because they had a few, but it's so good.
Great.
I love the colors and the vibe of the Saturday night, stage tapings. So
Oh,
cool.
that like neon, like
Yes.
WCW Saturday Night
Oh,
sign, the
yes.
center stage venue, so many vibes. They had like the
Uh,
intro music that felt like it
yes.
was like late night with David Letterman, but like WCW Saturday Night. So great.
So good. It's funny. I think I've told you this before, but when I was a kid, when you're a little kid, it was like WWF, Ultimate
Hmm.
Warrior. I was like, and I went to spend the night at a friend's house, and he was like a WCW household, Sting and like Ric Flair, and I was like,
Heck yeah.
well, actually, I was kind of like, what is this? Like, and because I think like WCW was on cable, it was on Turner Networks,
Mm.
whereas like WWF, like Superstars would be on NBC. Anyhow,
They used
yeah,
to air WCW over here on Turner Classic Movies channel, funnily enough.
oh,
So I'd be
that's so
watching like
cool.
Casablanca, and then we like cut to like WCW Nitro.
Incredible. Well, I wish I had enjoyed it back then. I wish I had a different attitude, but I was a kid. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have these faint memories of that set though. Like that kind of like like studio. I didn't know at the time, but that kind of like filmed on a studio lot.
Yeah.
So really really cool. We can go back and watch that. I think hopefully they keep adding more of it on YouTube. So
Yeah. I mean, they've got that WCW account on there now. They seem to be
yeah.
adding more and more stuff on. You can, for people at home, you can check out the entire Fall Brawl pay per view. They actually put it on that WCW YouTube, I believe, the whole show,
Oh
start
really?
to finish. Yeah, so you can actually check that out. They've got it in quite high resolution, which is always kind of weird, like to see it in higher quality than remembering those sort of like somewhat blurry videotapes that bring their own kind of like lovely nostalgia to it. But it is kind of cool to see it like in that crisp manner. The only negative is compared to the tapes, like you get a lot of the entrances kind of like the music dubbed
Right.
over, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
no, I mean it's good just in terms of that it's available.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and they actually also have just the match on there too.
Yeah,
That's what I watched. So, damn it, I probably watched some of the stuff you were talking about, but
that's all right. Probably my fault
but
for not giving you the heads up.
no, it's all good. But yeah, I would say one last thing on that. Like, that is one thing that is really cool about having the VHS tapes is you can watch some of these pay-per-views with like, Terry Funk's, original music or whatever, like the
Yeah.
actual, but then you go back and watch the HD version and you're like, what is this? This is a different song. Like if you watch those Mid-South episodes, there's the
Mm.
music's totally different than like a lot of the VHS rips,
I mean,
but
I'm
yeah,
I'm
it's all
so
good.
sad whenever we miss out on for the Midnight Express. We don't get like the Giorgio
Yep.
Moroder incredible score to what the movie The Midnight Express, right?
I don't know where it's from. Is that what it's from? I don't
I
know. I've
believe
never
so. I
actually seen
vaguely
that
remember there
movie.
was like this movie
Okay.
where it's like sort of The Simpsons has like a send up of it. One of their episodes where Homer's trying to like smuggle Twinkies like into a country, and then like all of
Oh,
they like arrest him like out of the plane. That's sort of like a send up of this movie, and then the guy has
okay.
this really long drawn out awful time in this European prison. But yeah, I think that's the score of that movie, which very much does not match quite the pumped up energy of the song.
Sure. I've actually never seen this movie. I've seen the box. It's kind of a yeah. I remember seeing this as the cover, but Yeah, I've never seen this, but
Possibly worth
yeah,
a rewatch. I have
yeah,
faint, weird, fond memories for it. I'd be keen to give it another watch.
yeah. Well, also the was it the Junkyard Dog JYD like it they had was it the Queen intro?
Yeah. Oh my
They,
gosh,
they you know
incredible theme music.
you watch the old videos and you're like, oh, it's so cool. It works so perfectly. And then you watch like a modern updated take that they've uploaded, and they have a different song.
I mean,
I
same
will.
with like World Class. You watch like the
Yep.
OG stuff with like Kerry coming out to like Tom Sawyer by Rush, and like the Von Erich coming out to like Lagrange. Like it's just you can imagine like being those like early 20s like kids in the sportatorium just losing your shit, and then they
Oh
just dub
yeah.
over it with the most lame music, and you're just like, oh,
Uh,
tears my
it's
heart out.
it's cheap, like licensable, like in perpetuity music. Yeah. I will
Mm,
say though, I love the Savage Steamboat WrestleMania 3 match. I love
mm.
the like there's that promo where you know Savage is like, I am the Lord and Master of the Ring, and then uh there's his entrance, and then they have Steamboat, and they have his music overdubbed. But I actually kind of like the music that they chose for him. So I'm kind of like, it's weird. I'm like, I like this. But anyhow, yeah. So I guess we're fortunate. We get to see this stuff. It's widely available. It's easier to find, but we can also nitpick it because we're super fans, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you a lot of this stuff, if you dig hard enough, you can still find on some old Daily Motion account, or
Yep.
archive.org, or whatever it might be, in a lot of the older like VHS rips. So that's what I like to do for the wrestling club. I'll like source this old grainy version to make sure we get
Oh
the
yeah.
proper entrances, and then cut to the better quality for the match wherever I can.
It's yeah. I like. There's those subscriptions too. You can those wrestling subscriptions. You know what I'm talking about, where you can like
Hmm.
see all the footage and stuff, and yeah, really cool. I'm always, it's so weird. I'm always sifting and trying to find the shittiest version of something I can, the purest form that I
Yes.
can. I don't know what that means, but yeah, it brings me a lot of joy.
You and me both, dude. Well, thank you so much. This has
Yeah,
been amazing. I had the best time talking about these two matches with you, dude.
it's him.
And yeah, like I said, I'll keep everyone posted on the updates for the video plant website. In the meantime, I'm sure if people follow video.plant on Instagram, I got that handle right, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably get some updates on there when things are good to go too.
Yep, yep. In 2026, it's gonna happen. Promise.
Awesome. Love it.
Um, Dude, thank you so much for having me on and sharing these matches with me and everybody else. And looking forward to doing it again.
Dude, thank you. Would love to have you on. Like I've said in the past, either whenever I have a match coming up that we're scheduled to talk about on the podcast, and it just shouts out to me that this is a Richard kind of match, like we had these two today, or vice versa. If we come up to one that you're like, oh, I have a special connection to this one, I got to talk about it.
I mean,
Always, please let me know.
I don't know if anybody's claimed it yet, but that Blue Panther Hijo Del Santo match,
Oh my gosh! I mean, it was your recommendation,
I
dude.
mean,
So of course.
okay, that would be a fun one because yeah, I'll save my thoughts for if I'm a contender for that one. But
I
yeah,
think you will
let me
be. I
know.
mean, I got some
Cool.
catching up to do before we get quite to there. We've only
Right
just
on.
done match of the week 108, and I believe that was 113. So we'll get
Oh,
there.
okay,
We'll get
good.
there.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, man. Well, thanks again. And yeah, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing those matches.
Thanks, dude. My pleasure. Okay, man. I'm knocking things all over the place here. That was very fun. So good to have Richard back on the show. look forward to having him back again next time. I love those rambling chats where it's like, you start on one thing and then you end up at RoboCop. That's a conversation with me in a nutshell. I think when I find others that can kind of work on that level, I know we're going to be friends. So good. Thank you very much for your time, Richard, and I'm sure everyone out there is as excited as me for any upcoming news that we have about the new Video Plant website. So again, I'll keep everyone abreast on that. But I also want to say a big thank you to everyone out there who listened to this episode. Thank you for your time. Thank you for willingly, playing my rambling nonsense in your ear holes. I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, I enjoy doing this thing. It keeps me sane. And yeah, especially when we get to talk about these things that we're passionate about, be that movies, or wrestling, or whatever it is. It's a good time, I feel. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end here. We've got another beefy episode here by the looks of it. But that happens when we get rambling. But that's okay. It's okay. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone out there who has supported this thing by buying my art. Be that at a in-person event at the Oddities tour this past few weeks, or or online. I have had just been overwhelmed by the amount of kind folks out there who have been indulging me and purchasing my Chris Things 2026 Los Luchadores versus Alien Invaders calendar. As Richard mentioned there, stoked that Richard got one as well. Thanks again, dude. But yeah, it's been so cool to just be sending these things all over the world. There's this silly little thing that I make, and it's enjoyable for me to put together. And then other people want to have that on their wall, and that is just delightful. But yeah, all of that stuff can be found at christhings.com.au. And I'd also like to say a big old thank you to the great team at Social Suplex for allowing me to do this podcast for almost 100 episodes now. I did not know whether I'd be doing it for that long when I first started this. I did not know whether people would care to listen to some Australian dude ramble about wrestling, but whatever. I guess we're doing it. But yeah, big old thank you to the whole team at socialsuplex.com. In addition to this podcast, there's a bunch of other rad wrestling podcasts on there, from One Nation Radio to Keeping It Strong Style to the Trish and Sarah podcast. We've got Tunnel Talk, we've got Imps WWE Adventure, All Things Elite, all the things. And man, special shout out to Social Suplex for dropping some breaking news this past week. My mind was blown when I read a report that really made the rounds about Tanahashi and his big retirement match ending up against Okada, but his original desired opponent, by the sounds of it, was actually the dude that I was hoping to see him get to wrap it up against, being Shinsuke Nakamura. And that story apparently was dropped by Trish of Social Suplex. Oh my gosh, man, congratulations there. That's massive. So yeah, just wanted to give a special little shout out there. I hear the Social Suplex team has a new newsletter thing that is available. So yeah, check out socialsuplex.com for the details there. But I'm out of steam, guys. I get to this point of the podcast and I'm just like, just trying to be an intelligible human somewhat, just losing my marbles a little bit. I think it's been a busy, series of weeks, as I mentioned, with the oddities and everything, and getting back, and just there's always something to do, so it's like sometimes you just gotta try to treat yourself nicely, give yourself a little breath before we keep on going. But man, I'm excited for 2026. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, but I have some cool things in store that I'm very excited to announce. And to finish off the year, in my last in-person event that I believe we're going to have of the year, it's going to be Wrestling Club this coming Monday night. We'll have all of the stuff for our podcast listeners of the night in question. Hopefully we can do a little bit of a debrief like we have previously, have some audio of the night in question, but I'm very excited about it. A Christmas themed edition. I'm sure there's something I'll be able to do with that theming wise for our playlist. But yeah, it all goes down this coming Monday, the 15th of December at the Scratch Bar. A free evening. If you'd like to come on down, please do. We'd love to have you. And I think what a great way to finish off the year. A little wrestling club Christmas party. That sounds like a great time to me. Well, even if you can't make it, if you guys are on the other side of the world, please know that I'm so grateful to you guys. Thank you for being here for the ride. Thank you for indulging my nonsense, and thank you for supporting in any way that you do. You guys are the best. And this has been Wrestling Art with Chris Things. I am Chris Things. Hope you all have a wonderful week until I speak to you next week. Bye.